And I think we're live. Hello, everybody. So today we'll have another hangout. I have a guest here called Leveled Out. He was in one of Anthony Riley's hangouts, or maybe more than one of his hangouts, I don't know. And he has a model representing the behavior of objects regarding moving them towards the horizon or back from the horizon. And I think there's a massive flaw in that model, which I want to present later. So hello, Leveled Out.
Hi, can you hear me? Hiya.
Yeah, I can hear you brilliantly. It's all right.
Great. Yep. Well, you've introduced us, and I'm ready to go.
All right. So it would be brilliant if you could just show us the model that you presented to Anthony a week ago or so. You know, the one regarding the three figurines that you were shifting or moving around in your 3D representation.
Yep.
Do you know how to share the desktop?
Yep. I'll just go and do that now. Yep.
All right.
Right. Can you see this? Yep.
I can see it, but I think I have to send it to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody should be able to see it now. Yes. Yeah, I'm getting feedback from the live stream. It seems to be working.
Right. Yep. I was intending to show this anyway, but since you've asked me to actually show it yourself, is there a point that you wanted to make before I expand?
Not really, no.
So there's no reason for why you're asking me to bring this model up.
The reason is because first of all, it would be nice if the audience would know how your model works, and then I'm going to explain to you why I think it's flawed.
Right, yeah, brilliant. This model works because you can see three people standing here that are all obviously of different heights, and the one in the middle is a person where she's level with the horizon. Now, the fact that she's level with the horizon means nothing. This isn't my point, what I'm making. But a lot of people got confused, and even Soundly himself, I've heard make comments that my information must be flawed because you can obviously see that the smaller woman is below the horizon. And like I sort of face palmed myself there because you're obviously not understanding what I'm coming from. This screen, this whole environment that I'm now moving around is the observer's eye. This is your head that now I'm looking around and now I'm very high, I'm very low, I'm actually under the ground. This is the observer. Now, when you are looking straight ahead, you can be said to say on any camera, any photography, that the center line will be centered if you are looking straight ahead. Now, if I were to tip my head down, the horizon will come up to the top of the screen. If I were to look up, the horizon would go to the bottom of the screen. A lot of people don't think that the horizon is your own personal horizon. Well, I'm about to prove that the horizon you see in real life is your own personal horizon. Now, if I just, again, align myself here, you can see that this woman, where it says eye level, is eye level. Now, if we pull this woman towards us, what should we expect to see on our face? This being our face. Should this woman, I'll tell you what will happen, her eye height will meet our eye height. We are now sharing her horizon. And if we move her towards us, we can see that quite clearly when she's moving exactly level that she meets our eye height. We are sharing her horizon. A horizon is personal to yourself, to where you're standing. Now you can say I'm sharing a horizon of a child. You can say it's a child. How can I know this? Because if I move this child towards us, her eye height will equal mine. We can check this on an eye height here. I am now 3 foot tall. I'm literally 3 foot tall. When I line myself up with this woman here, you can see that I'm 4 foot tall. And here, this is the proper scaled woman here. And you can see that she's just roughly she's 5'8" here. And what I want to show you is after this is a couple of pictures. Here we can see that that's leveled with the eye height. Now, can I just ask you, would you say that this picture here is an accurate representation of perspective, ignoring the fact that it is on an infinite plane? Would you say that this is an accurate representation of perspective, given that this woman could be walking forward here? These are the steps that she's taken to come here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And what about this one?
It's hard to tell, but it looks somewhat wrong, so no.
No. This one is the true reality, and this one is a mock-up that I've created. This one isn't reality. Now, these are both 2D images. The ones I've just shown you are both 2D. This is a true perspective, what I've done, and it is a 2D image in a 3D environment. And here I'll just show you that. It is 2D, but it is in a 3D environment. That's this one here. And this one is the one that you agree is correct. And this one is, again, a 2D image, which I've just aligned to a true perspective in a 3D environment. So this one being the fake image and this one being the real image, we can examine what we would see in real life if we could stretch them out. Now, CAD, people don't trust it, but CAD shows you more than anything could ever show you in real life. Now, from the 2D perspective, that is true. I will show you how it works out in real life. We can see that when we move, the woman that looks like she's far away is genuinely far away. And in a moment, we'll measure the heights to confirm that they are, in fact, exactly the same height. That is the true 3D perspective. This one, like you said, looks a little wrong. And now when we go to the false perspective, what I've mocked up, we can go here and put that into the real world and have a look. And this looks real, but it is, in fact, a false perspective. And to show you that, the woman is at the equal distance, but scaled massively. Now, the reason this looks right, the reason that it did trick you, is because you don't understand the intricacies of how a horizon works when it is personal to you. If you don't put it personal to you, you will fall for this flaw. And this flaw is apparent in Soundly's video, which I will highlight. But I can tell you straight away that looking at the closest woman, this point here indicates my eye line. Now, here, this woman, she should have dropped down to there, her elbow. Here, this horizon, it isn't even touching now. And here you can see she is clearly well above the horizon. This tells me instantly that this was magnification, but where you do get this effect is when you zoom in onto objects. Even over what you think you're living on, the globe, you can get distorted effects zooming in onto objects. And what we get to do in CAD is to see what it would look like if we could literally look around that zoom. And these people are really that far away, but what has happened to break away from the illusion? What has happened is magnification. What happens when you zoom in on a camera? You are magnifying your image to look further and you are stretching them out. Now, I have a couple of like videos and stuff to show you.
What I want to talk about is what you presented during the hangout with Anthony. It was you had the 3 figurines that you just showed.
Yes, here.
And right, and you stretched them out towards the horizon. And the claim you made was that the position of the figurines, or in this case, the faces of the figurines, to the horizon would be always identical. So that, for example, the middle figure that you are showing right now would be always at the same level as the horizon, right?
Yep.
The problem with that is that this only works on a flat surface. So the argument that you guys made during the hangout in itself was circular. You started with the flat surface, showed that this would work, and then came back to say that it was a flat surface as a result. The reason why your model is false is, well, I can show you. I can share my screen and we can go through it, all right?
Yep.
Okay. So I think it's on screen 3. Yeah, this one. Give me a second. So can you see my screen?
Yep, just a mirror effect, yep.
All right, now I'm really crappy with 3D programs, so we'll do this in 2 dimensions. Do you understand that the 2-dimensional representation works in this case?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm doing is I have this circle representing the surface of the planet. I know it's not to scale. We can do it to scale afterwards if you want. But first, let me start with this one. And this line here, particular this part from here to here, represents the height of the observer. So your camera height. Now, in this case, obviously, the horizon is at this position. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to take this line. And what I'm going to do with it is I will rotate it by a certain amount. For example, by let's say 0.5 degrees. It's the wrong direction, sorry. So it's minus 0. Let's go for -1 degree. Okay. So this line still has the same length. So when you compare it to your 3 figurines, it should be the middle one, as that one had the same body height as the one with where the camera was positioned. So what happens now when I set them both at the same position and zoom in is that this part here will be above the horizon line. Do you see that?
Yep.
Well, and that effect, I'm just going to copy it again, is going to get much stronger as practically the further you go away from the position of the observer, as you can clearly see here. You see that?
Yep.
So that means that when a person is the same height as you, the further that she goes away from you, the further up relative to the horizon she will be. If we repeat that with a smaller person, so I'm just going to delete these, copy, paste, -1 degree. Make this a little shorter, like that. Let's go a little further. So this line here would represent a smaller person, as you can see. And right now, obviously, the head of the person would be below the horizon.
Yep.
All right. But what happens when you go further away? Shown in this case, you need more distance. So let's go for 348. That's 10 degrees from the last line. As you can see, the further towards the horizon it goes, the further up it goes. And at some point, let's go in 10-degree steps here. As you can see, the part of the body that is above the horizon will grow, or it's a bigger part of the object that is above the horizon.
Yep.
You agree so far? All right.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, brilliant. And here's the point roughly where the horizon is. So you see that all of the object now is above the horizon. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, then that proves that you were wrong in Anthony Riley's Hangout, because you said that if there was a smaller person, in this case the smaller of the 3 figures, then her face would always be below the horizon. And I just showed that this is not the case on a flat surface.
Yeah, but I can't actually be wrong, because I also got proof to show you that this is for a flat plane. But I will definitely agree with what you've got here, and I will also slightly retract on what I've said, and I will explain what I mean now. This perspective works on a flat plane, and what you've just shown me here, if we take that 3D and we go linear both directions on the X and Y, that what you've just shown me here, they are extending above the horizon. And now laterally, when I made my statement that it works on a globe, I was thinking of looking forward and the curve, and stuff will vanish into the horizon. But here, what you've shown me quite clearly, because I haven't actually done my due diligence on this, is that it is extending. So now I could make a prediction and say that things will dip into the horizon, the same as on a plane, but they will extend above as they're sinking. And now,
No, they're not sinking. That's
no,
what I'm showing. They're
yeah.
obviously rising relative to the horizon. If this is your line towards the horizon, your line of sight to the horizon, then these objects are
yes, but you've got to
rising,
take
definitely.
into account the degree of the no object there. We are working on 69 miles. You've got 1 degree. You're working on this.
Yeah, as I said, if we can do the same on scale, we can do it if you want. And it will show the exact same thing, that at the point where the horizon is equally as far away as the object you're observing, then everything will be above the horizon.
Right, you can show that later if you want, yeah.
Yeah, we can do it to scale. It's a little bit more complicated because I need another program, but I think it'll do. Do we want to do that?
I'll just show you mine first, yeah.
Sure.
Right.
So, share for everybody. All right.
Right. The first one I want to go to is Soundly's video. And here we can see the definite appearance of curvature. And
yes,
what I argue here is that the horizon, this is not the horizon.
Then where do you think the horizon is?
Well, based off what perspective tells me, I would put the horizon. If Soundly, I'll just pause this. If Soundly,
just please pause this. Pause it where you can actually see the power lines. That would be awesome. Just take any frame where you think represents best what you're trying to show.
Where to represent better? Yep.
You just find the frame with the best picture quality. That would be best.
Well, it's more just to there. I'll leave that there.
Here, all right.
I am claiming that this isn't the horizon. Now, I just want to explain a bit like if Soundly's went out and went to get this shot with the intention of proving curvature, I'm sure that he will have held the camera horizontally. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, holding it vertically into the sky wouldn't make much of a point.
Exactly. So I'm just making sure that you can agree with me that he must be, for us to trust this, holding it horizontally. Boom. He's got as straight eye level as he can get it.
Yes.
Right. Based on that, I would say that the rule of perspective is you take the center shot, and here I will put the horizon here, and I'm going to prove that the horizon is here, and this is the horizon. Right?
So you think the horizon is higher than much higher, or in this case, much higher than
and there's a way
the surface of the sea is.
With Soundly's video, there is a way, but before we do that, we have to look at what I'm proving now. I don't have a globe model to show you, do I? So I have to prove that the flat plane, for me to have any sense, I would have to show that the flat plane works on the infinite plane. What I'm showing is true to life. Now here is a bit of footage of the exact same pontchartrain.
Pontchartrain.
Yep.
And I think it's misspelled. I think there's a T missing between N and C, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, this video here is showing, contrary to what Soundly's showing, this is showing absolute straight following perspective shot of the power lines. And here, as we zoom in, you'll see the other tower that's in the distance come into focus. Now, this is following true linear perspective into a vanishing point. Here, we can pause this. This
Stop.
is a horizon.
This, I think what you're showing there, this horizontal structure might be, have you seen the actual power line on Google Maps? Because I think there are two power lines, and I'm not sure if this is the same one that is Soundly
all I'm referencing
showing.
it for is to show that it's from the same direction as Soundly's filmed.
Are you sure?
Yes, yes, because then you see actually here on the car, you can see that he is actually at the same reference height that Soundly. There's a car.
Can you maybe show the first pylon? Yeah, that looks like it's identical. So okay, all right.
And right here, I'm going to pause it. Here, if you'll remember, on Soundly, we have the anomaly starting to where it seems to curve. Now here it is. I'll just slow that up there. At the comparable distance where it starts to curve, and notice that these are above the horizon. If he was holding it level and he was on the road, I tell you that I put it in the central of the screen, the camera. So if I come back to this video here, based on where there. Now, can you see where I'm pointing to here?
Yeah.
Now, can you see these are under the horizon, and this is actually the globe, well, the flat plane, what I believe it is, but these are under the horizon. Now, can you remember what I've shown on the modeling and how that just follow? Now, if we just watch this, I've just noted, like you were questioning, how would I know the height? Do you see this? I gave a guesstimate. Look at this. I've just noticed this now. Now look, that is following linear path, is it not?
I'm not sure, because I think the zoom level of this camera is far worse than the other one.
I think that's sort of avoiding, but this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to compare when you don't know how the zoom level is.
Fair enough. You don't know how the zoom level is, but could we agree that we are seeing to the end of the Pontchartrain power lines?
No, we can't tell it.
No, here, this building, this says that this is further than the power lines, for one, because it is higher. It's either a higher building or it is exactly at the end of the power lines. Either way, I could go on Google Earth maybe later and detect this, but for the argument's sake, I'm saying that if you watch this, that we can see we are seeing to the end, and this isn't sea, this is land.
Yeah, so let's go with that. The horizon is in this video where you think it is. How does it make you believe that it's higher than the ocean in the other one?
Just what I've explained. Like, this person here has genuinely gone out to try and get this, and for him to do that, if he pointed his camera in the sky, you wouldn't see the pylons. If he pointed it down at the floor, you wouldn't. His camera has to be horizontal. Now he's got it horizontal, and here we can see plain as day that these are following perfectly without deviation the horizon. And on Soundly's, we can see perfectly that they aren't following any horizon. And now I'll show you.
Yeah, can you just stop it right there, because I want to show you something before we go further. I'm going to share my screen again. Give me a second. So we'll just continue where we left. So as you can see in the footage, the concrete foundations of the power lines are much shorter than the observer height is. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right. So then it's fair to say that these lines represent the power line foundations. Okay.
Yes.
I know it's not the scale. We can do it on the scale afterwards. That's no problem. But what you can see is, let's just draw some more lines. So actually, I need 2 more of these at least. So here. Right here. And 1 here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the angle of the observer. So the angle of the line of sight from the observer to the foundation of the power line relative to the angle of the horizon. Okay.
Yep.
So I need another color. Let's go for, I hope you can see red, whatever. So when we start, what the heck? Getting an error message, just give me a second. I should have it. Okay. No. What the fuck? Okay. Red. Okay. So this is the direct line of sight to this point. Here to this point. Why the heck doesn't it change to red? Whatever. Another one. And another one. So what you can clearly see is that the maximum height of or the maximum angle that where the power line is above the horizon is either directly on or before the actual horizon. So if we continue, you can see that the highest you have to look up is, in this case, this position, which, if we go back to Soundless video, let me just find it on YouTube. I don't know if it's the same video, but whatever. Just give me a second. Yeah, this one is good enough. So I don't know if this is the exact same video that Soundly made that you're showing, but it's not important because the footage is roughly identical. So you can see that until about here, the pylon foundations seem to be rising. Do you agree?
Yep.
And we can clearly see that the when you go back to my drawing, that the horizon is always on the spherical model, always below the line of sight to the foundation of the pylons after a certain distance is passed. So you see here it's below the horizon. I think about right here it would be directly spot on the horizon. So you can see that the horizon on the position where the pylon is, or the pylon foundation is the highest in the picture, in the frame, that the horizon has to be below it, which fits. So judging from this picture, there's no reason to assume whatsoever why the horizon should be further up.
Right, can I give my critique on what you've done there?
Sure.
There you can see an obvious thing of what you're doing is that you are looking, now your line of sight is going lower and lower on the pylon. Now, what this does do in reality, like you pointed out, is you see the top of the image mostly. But
the top of the image? No, not really. I mean, under the condition that the line of sight is straight, which it obviously is. I mean, it's obviously straight. Then actually, it's not important whether it's the frame is directly orientated towards the target.
No, yeah, you missed my point. You are looking down to the horizon, and as you're looking down to the horizon now from any of these lines, they carry on.
Wait, down to the horizon. Shouldn't there be no down on a flat surface?
It's the globe that I'm presupposing, and I don't.
All right. Okay.
Just as you've got it there, because the only way that we could actually describe this to anyone who didn't know as a layperson is to say that this is a person and they're looking down. They're their line of sight, the tangent that is just skipping past the curve of the earth. That, where it meets, that is your horizon. Now, if you notice that it's blindingly obvious that you are looking at the lower portion of it, but the higher portion will be visible, and that is the effect what people play on. The top of them pylons are there. This is atmospheric conditions, and I'll prove that in a minute as well. But that is what you are seeing, and on Soundly's video, where it meets the horizon, I argue that you have educated me on the curve. This I've sort of neglected, but it will stretch ever so slightly above the horizon. But what it will do is the pylons will shrink before they disappear over the horizon. The base
Yeah,
of
wait.
the pylon.
All right. If you do that, I just want to have it on the record. Since you say that I've corrected you on the
Yes.
globe in this case, do you agree that the model that not soundly, that Kara, for example, did actually shows the same effect?
I haven't looked.
Because if you look back at Kara's model, let me just find that as well.
Actually, I'd say Kara's model. You should bring that up because that would prove and that I'm now thinking that it would possibly come up a slight bit. And from memory, I think like Kara there, that looks flat to me there.
Yeah, because if you look back at her footage, you said during Anthony Riley's hangout that her model actually supports your position that the top of the pylons should not be above the horizon.
Yep.
But when we actually look at Kara's hangout, or I don't know, was it Kara's hangout or Soundly's, whatever, you can see the green line, and the green line is the horizon. You can clearly see that the pylon foundations are above it, as I predicted.
There you can see that. I could zoom in now. I could see that now, and actually I'll bring that video up myself. That green line has been manipulated, and I've not really know. I just going off memory that Kara moves the green horizon line and also the camera height, and there them couple of pixels of grey are above. Now,
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, all she does is
where I can see the grey going.
because wait, as far as I remember, everything she did was so the white part of this frame is the actual surface, the round or the spherical surface, and all she did was add this line to better show the contrast in this case.
Can you zoom in?
Ooh, I don't think so. No, give me a second.
You don't really have to there, right? Just put that big again.
You can clearly see that if you zoom in, that the entirety of the foundations is above the horizon.
No, I would argue that what I've just said and discovered, because I do understand what you were saying, and I did say that I was only thinking in a forward direction of a curve, that the curve going both sides dictates Kara's model is accurate, that a curve.
What do you mean by both sides?
Both X and Y, left to right, has to curve.
No, left and right is irrelevant. We could also be on a cylinder, and the same thing would happen.
Well, allow me to explain my point then. Left and right, there is a curve going on. Kara, do you agree that that is a globe that Kara's modelled?
Yeah.
So do you agree that left and right has a curve?
Yes, but it's irrelevant.
Yes, no, it's not irrelevant if you allow me to make the point. At the distance that she zoomed in with the focus, if she zoomed out now, that would look straight on Earth. You would agree? Now she's
no. What do you mean? What do you mean by straight? I mean, as we can see, because the distance from this pylon to this pylon is far longer than from this pylon to this pylon.
Yes.
Of course, the curvature is going to look more extreme here as it is here.
Yep.
But that has nothing to do with the fact.
No, if you go on in the video, this is what I can remember. You'll see Kara has cognitive dissonance, and this is where I sort of got it. I didn't have keen eyes. There, I will agree with you that that is going above the horizon, but I'd like you to agree that they are receding gradually before they get there. They are, in effect, we know this is a globe, they are going over a curve. And if you
but they are not that straight here.
No, this is, if you watch Kara's model, she has the circumference at 3,595 miles. That is exact. She has the pylons at 0.18 of a mile. That is 950 feet. She's got this model exact. And with what you just told me before, I was making the claim that they'd run into the distance, but now I know that I have to take account of the left and right, which I didn't. And that is a gradual curve. It looks straight here, but we know it's a curve. If we lived on Earth, they would stretch above the horizon. Now I'm going to show you how they don't stretch above the horizon.
What do you mean by stretch over?
Looking at a big ball, if you look down at a big ball like that, you can literally see that whatever is on top, you are going to be able to see it's higher than the ball.
You mean that you can see still part of this pylon, although it's past of the horizon? Is that what you mean?
Sorry, say again. I
So-
flicked to my screen. I
so-
thought I was sharing.
So in my drawing, this part sits roughly where the horizon is, as seen from the vantage point. But you can obviously see big parts of the other pylons that are further away. Is that what you're saying?
No, I thought you were trying to make the point to me then. No.
No, I'm asking you.
Just go back to the picture again, and I'll go and explain again, because I think I've lost me
Oh.
now. Here.
Yeah, I just don't understand what you mean by stretch out. Or what did you say? Stretch over?
Go back to the picture. I have no idea. I've totally lost my own thoughts here.
Yeah, you mean Kara's picture or mine?
I'm relating just to Kara's.
All right.
Here, I am saying that here, this horizon line is just slightly under, but I won't pick that. I will say that I will definitely agree that these pylons here visually on this globe, and I remind you that this is the only evidence that I think we see of a globe, because the pictures I'm about to show you. But here I will agree, and that is because I haven't taken into account, I've visualized a cylinder. This looks like a straight line, but I know Kara's modeled this perfectly, and this line is bending, and this is what gives us this effect. Now, I know what I'm talking about here, and now I can model this in real time for you here pretty quickly as well. And I will be able to replicate the same results, and it will look flat, but on the flat plane, you won't get that. Now,
so your current model is completely on a flat surface, so there's no curve there whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And do you have the possibility to model it on a spherical surface?
Yes.
That would be awesome if you could do that.
I have a model, but first, before I do this, I just want to make the other points to keep it going. What I was
Yeah, sure.
Now, this here is a video. This is what I'm going to suggest on atmospheric conditions. Now, this is from Jeranism.
I know it. I've seen it.
Yes. Here, just for everyone else then, so I think this is brilliant evidence. I'll just play this. This is a time lapse, and here we can see that the humidity, I'll put this on the big screen, it's going to show you now that throughout the day, what atmospheric conditions do to observers' viewpoint. When you're looking here, now we can see the coast.
Yeah, you can see the coast rise and drop, but you cannot see parts of it disappear.
You can't see, you can.
I don't think you can. No. I think the stuff gets compressed in height, but it doesn't go away completely.
Regardless, every picture that gets examined on flat Earth is under scrutiny for compression and anything. Imagine I've given you this as a picture. I don't show it you in video format. I just go here. Now, there, do you see that I could say that's going under the curve, and this is a lot higher. This is why you can see it. I could just say that, but then when I come back to
then I would answer what reference do we have, because I would like to have a reference on the other beach over there where we can check if there's something wrong with it.
I'm glad you mentioned what reference do we have, because now what reference do we have to this, to Soundly's video? What reference do we have? Well, I have a reference video that I've already shown you. What reference do I have here? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and, I guess, when he's going straight here, look, I put the horizon there, and I have proof.
Yeah, can you go back? Your frame rate is quite shitty right now.
Yeah.
Just go to the frame or to the part of the video which you want to show. Here, all right.
There. I'd put the horizon. Well, judging off this, I'd put the horizon roughly there. And
so how much up from the surface of the sea? Like maybe 20 pixels or something? Just keep your pointer for like 2 seconds where you think the horizon is.
Point, where the pointer touches the C and where it hits the arrow is
All right.
roughly, I don't know, because this is pointing up now. Let me just play a couple of seconds and then I'll give you a judgment of where I think it
Okay.
is. Now, there's that what you saw on that car. This is Soundly's video. I'm just waiting for him to drop the camera. If it's going to go up, down there, I'd say that's his center. I'd put it there.
All right, but I've already shown you that geometrically that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You have shown me what you've shown me, what you've been taught. But here,
No, that's not what I'm being taught. I mean, I didn't look this up before. I just drew the model. This is not something that is, yeah, that is not something that is learned. I just went with a condition that first we have a spherical surface, and then I drew the model to find out what would happen.
Naturally, yep.
Yeah, and the result is obviously that the horizon is below the point where the pylons are the highest, or the highest, whatever.
I would say here that was on a model with the Earth's curvature. Now,
yes,
I have a reference here to Soundly's video. Now, this is just a reference. This is all I will treat this as a reference. And here I can see a horizon height that seems, I don't know how to say this, but seems to mimic CAD system. It seems to do exactly what a flat plane should do. And the horizon also seems to be at eye level, but I have no way of checking this on here. But since you like, I've sort of just realized now that I can check it on Soundly's video. I'll just go back to that. There, you see it's meeting there.
What is meeting where?
The horizon, visually, is meeting there. So that's a good marker. I'll use that as.
Yeah, but.
And I think that was roughly where I was pointing, was it? I'm a mile off, or. No, I think I'm pretty blowing close. I'm gonna. Is that second one? Look.
But if you go back to the to this one,
second one,
yeah, you can see that as seen from this point, the part of the power lines. I have to show it on my screen. So can you send me the link of the video via the internal chat function?
Yeah.
It's on the top left, I think. No, not via YouTube. Yeah, but whatever. That works as well.
Oh, it didn't.
Ah, you can't. You're not an admin. Just do it via the internal function. So go to the Google Hangouts window. You know the chat window? Yeah, that one.
Yep.
And then on the top left, there should be a list of functions pop up, and there's a chat function. Yeah, that one, yes. Then now a window opens on the right side where you can copy and paste. No, on the lower right corner, you can paste it. All right, I got it. So, God damn it. So, going back to my screen. And actually, can you please send me the footage of Soundly that you were using, so I can jump between the two? Okay, where's the second one? Just give me a second. Ah, there it is. All right. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Can the rest should be able to see my screen as well? I don't think I'm broadcasting. Just give me a second. I'm restarting the broadcast function. Here we go. I hope it works. So there's quite an accurate way to estimate how high the observer height is. We've already seen that basically the further you zoom into the picture, the more of the curvature will be visible because you see more of distance, right?
Debatable, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that means that using the first few pylons, you can estimate where the height of the observer is. And I think in this case, the observer has about the same height as about here. Do you agree?
I'm glad you agree with that. Yep. Yep.
More or less. Yeah.
Yep.
But
100%
if
agree.
you go to this footage, and if you show the part where, yeah, here, it looks like maybe the observer height is lower. I'm not sure about it. It's hard to tell. I mean, here it appears so, but it's, as said, it's hard to estimate it.
If you understand perspective, though, it tells you the observer height as long as you could measure an object. If an object is running in a straight line, if you know how big that is, then you know how high the person is that took the picture. And I can show you how to work this out. I have already sort of explained it, but never got to showing. But yeah,
I'm not sure what you mean, but yeah, just show it.
Yep. Just show. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen again.
Right. Yep. Here we'll go for him. We've just made the rough guess that he's going to be on. I'll go back to this video just quickly. I'm not guessing now. I've made a guess, but now I've got my reference. So I'm gonna say that this is Soundly's observer height.
More or less, yeah, we can agree on that, I think.
Yeah. And now that was that second sort of diamond thing up. There's the bottom one. And could we agree that that's a second diamond?
More or less, yeah, I think.
And there, could we agree that I'm pointing centrally to the camera?
Yes, I agree.
And Soundly's held it horizontally. We've passed eye level. And here, it shows eye level on the horizon. Your horizon isn't personal. Your horizon is personal to you. The camera is the horizon. It is my eyes stuck there. I could move the camera away and my eyes are seeing the same image. Agreed?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
If I was taking this shot myself and I'm looking through the camera, once I move the camera away, reality still reflects the same.
Yes, I mean the point of view is obviously identical. So the zoom would be different, but not the point of view.
No, well, the observer height would still remain the same.
Yes. Yeah.
And here we have the reference to an observer height, and I can prove that reference with an observer height, whichever height that you have here. I have this woman here. It's not about the woman that I'm using. It's the fact that here we move her, we can see she's sticking with the observer. So now my eye height is roughly there. If my eye height is bang in the center, now I can see that this woman is tall to me. I could make an estimation that this woman is tall. If I was stood on the beach on a flat land, I could just look and see that this woman is taller than me. I'd come up to her waist, my eye height. I've done that before, and this is what I mean. We can see that that's a good estimation.
Yeah, all right. But what's your point?
That is how you judge seeing distance on perspective, when you understand perspective and things that are running straight, if you know them to be true and straight, you can use them as a perfect guide to estimating the observer height that took the photo.
Yeah, as said, I have no problem with your estimation of the observer height. But
Okay, so
what do you think follows?
it follows that here the observer height driving on the road is relative to the last person that drove on the road and took this shot. Soundly's height.
What do you mean relative? You mean they are identical?
Soundly, yes. I mean,
All right.
Soundly was on the bridge, and Johnny, this person, was on the bridge.
Okay, so what?
So if Soundly is on the bridge and he has this image, and I've just shown you the atmospheric refraction that throughout the day, the humidity that it brings.
Just before you continue, are you sure that wait, I have to get the footage out again, because are you sure that the height of the highway always stays the same?
No, I'm not sure at all, but what I am sure of is that this is displaying what I can quite clearly demonstrate now with posts, sticks, or anything, that these towers are all agreed to be at the same height.
Yeah, you should do that by zooming more into the distance.
No, I mean, just on your general perception, do you agree that them towers are at the same height? Because I think,
yeah, they look as if they're on the same height. Yeah.
Yes.
But as said, you will see more effect of curvature the further you zoom in.
Yes, exactly. You would think that, and that's what we've been told. But here we can see.
No, that's as I said before, and as I'm now saying again, it's not something that is taught. You can directly infer it from the model that I drew.
But that's where it's sort of breaking down, because I'm not using a model. I am using a picture of reality that is in stark contrast to Soundly's video. And what this brings down to is who is doing CGI. I claim none. I claim that they are genuine pictures in atmospheric conditions.
How do you wait? How do you differentiate between this one or this one being CGI and one that Soundly made a CGI?
No, I'm alluding to a point of.
No, you just said that this proves that he's doing CGI. Soundly's doing CGI.
Right, well, you
and my question is.
No, you can rewind this.
My question. Wait, my question is.
You've manipulated my point there, though, because I've said that I clearly state that these aren't CGI. I'm just saying, is that where this conversation is going to go with this proof? Is it that going to go down a road of that this is not a genuine image? Because
this is a genuine image, or this is not a genuine image?
I think you're sort of avoiding a point. Could we just agree that this footage is real?
For the sake of argument, yes. But my question is, how can you determine that? Because if you're saying that that one footage made on Lake Pontchartrain is fake, how can you determine that the other one is real?
I can determine it myself with the skills what I've just told you by here, that we zoom out again, that this is following perspective.
Yeah, under the condition that it's a flat plane.
Yeah.
So wait again. So you start with the conclusion. You say this is a flat plane. Therefore, this footage works. Therefore, it's a flat plane. And that's the same thing you did in Riley's Hangout.
That is exactly what I am saying. And here I am telling you.
Wait. So you're saying you're admitting that your argument is circular?
No. You are really avoiding the context of these pylons here are not following perspective, and this.
Yes, I already showed that they did.
No, but
as a result of being on a flat, on a spherical surface, they show exactly what we expect if the surface is spherical, as I demonstrated. Well, not with a scale model, but whatever, and as Kara demonstrated.
So, what would you say is happening here?
I don't know. First of all, wait. Let me clarify. First of all, I don't know if this is the same zoom level as Soundly's is. I can't tell from the footage. because it looks like it isn't, but I won't say that it isn't until I've seen it in a better resolution. And I think the resolution is that you have on is more or less the best we can get. Second of all, I don't know 100% that it's the same power lines, so I can't tell if the distance between the foreground and the absolute background is the same.
Right.
So no, I can't tell 100% sure that this follows perspective. I can't say 100% that this appears to be straight, because I don't know how the point where we would expect curvature to kick in the most would look like, because the video is not good enough.
Just here, before you said that that does sort of confirm to you that that is taken from the same angle as Soundly's.
I'm not sure, just give me a second. Actually, can you please zoom into the big pylon in the foreground? Let me just find it on Google Earth.
Make a point here again that this, if the atmospheric conditions, which you can see wobbling and bending stuff, were right, that atmospheric condition you can see on the other video that I could demonstrate, and I will be making a video on this, but that wobble is what you are seeing, the atmospheric conditions.
Can you play it a little further, maybe, the video?
This one here?
Yes,
yeah.
just let it run a bit. Is there a point where he drives past the power lines? There should be, right? No, there isn't. Okay. Because what I would like to see in this video is that when the power lines are aligned to each other, the power line, the power pylon, the first power pylon, the bigger one, isn't completely aligned. The two corners of it are 2 or 3 degrees off. So by comparing the angle that you would expect, we can determine if it's the same row of power lines.
I'm just literally going off absolute gut sense here that one thing is matching up with what I know about perspective. All of these are in a straight line. I know them to be a straight, exact same height, and they are following what I know to be perspective on a flat infinite plane in a modeling program. I know the world to be flat, and both
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Can I please make the point though?
Yeah,
both
sure.
Modeling program and what I am showing you in the real world are mirroring themselves, complementary. They are following what I've just shown, what I've explained. And here we can see on Soundly's video that his eye height actually passes, confirming that when you see this person is on the bridge, perspective, I've shown you with the little woman, with everything. I can show you with a big ship. I will tell you how high that ship will be. You can ask me to make a person of 20 foot, 30 foot, 40 foot and push it without measuring far into the distance. And I will tell you at what height that will come to another character that you can see. Even without judging, I don't need to know whether that person is 20 miles away. But if you ask me to make a 30-foot tall person and a 17-foot tall person, I could tell you where that person will be on the other person when they meet. That is perspective, and that is what is happening here. What I've said, I've proved here that the perspective is meeting. It is running linear with this beautiful flat plane that we live on. It is undeniable.
Yeah, no. As said, do you see how, let's say, washed out the picture gets where the interesting part is?
Yes, this is what I really want to go over. This.
Yeah, right. That's where I would like a better resolution.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't get one of me. I'm not a photographer.
Yeah, not of you, obviously, but from this footage, I simply can't tell whether what you're saying is right, that there's no curvature seen there whatsoever, because for the simple reason that the resolution isn't all right. In Soundly's footage, on the other side, it seems to be better.
I disagree with that, actually. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you can see that the Soundly's footage, you can see that the
just so you know, do you agree that that's compression?
Compression, hard to tell. Maybe I would have to look at the original footage.
This is Soundly's.
Yeah, I know. But for example, what you can see is that the part of the pylons where the it's hard to describe in English. Give me a second. I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
All right, you should be able to see my screen again. Do you?
Yes.
Okay, so this is soundless footage. For example, here you can see clearly the details of the power lines. I'm going to make it bigger. Can you still see it?
Yes.
It's full screen. It's full screen now. Can you see the full screen? All right. So, for example, you see that here there seems to be an alignment of the different metal bars that let it appear to be a little darker. You see that? And that continues until here. And here's the same one. You get this this line that is clearly that is a little darker. You can see that. You can't see anything like this in the other footage. If you zoom in, you can't, or at least you can less.
You can. It's there. That's the same compression. Compression where I don't really know much about this, but I know just what I've learned through Flat Earth. And
I don't think it's compression. It's just the resolution, the angular resolution of the camera. That's the problem.
Oh no, it's compression in the sense that there's a lot more pylons being compressed into a small space.
Yeah, right. Then it is the angular resolution. Because if the angular resolution of the camera would be better, you could see the individual pylons. They would still be behind each other, obviously, but you would see more detail.
Can I ask, what do you think you are seeing here?
I have no idea. As said, first of all, I'm not sure whether this is the same power line. I don't know if the distances match up.
Could I just suggest that what you are seeing here is a flat plane, proof of a flat plane, and that I've shown that this here, I could tell you that this is running with perspective, and what this tells me is that this is the eye height, and Soundly's video confirms that this is the eye height, and I have photos and everything else, more videos to go over to show you that any photo, and you could pass me photos, that all of them match a flat plane. And here on the model, that the only way you can really tell that a photo would work in reality is if you can somehow break away from it being 2D and examine it in its entirety. And this is what I've done. Here is a false perspective. This was the first picture which you took for real. I asked you at the beginning that this is the common zoom problem.
Yeah, but you forget something. You forget the fact that we know the distance between the towers.
Yes, but you forgot the point that I've made, that you don't need to know distance of anything. You do not need to know
Yes, you
distance.
do. Yes, you do.
No,
Yeah. There are optical illusions which play exactly on the fact that you don't know the distance between the different objects.
No, how? I mean, lots of people understand perspective as art. You draw. There is a lot more to perspective, where you can critically analyze a picture and gauge height, distance, depth, and how much a hill is sloping in front of you. That is very tricky for people to do if they don't understand it. They go about it with mathematics, but you can judge it from eye if you are using the horizon, and you know that horizon is personal to the observer. That is when I can make a claim and say this picture is wrong, because this woman here, she should be at this height, and her elbow there, she should be there. Instantly, she should be there, and that tells me that she is far too big.
At which distance? You can't make that claim without knowing the distance.
No, this is why I've done this. This is what I've done, as in an undefined distance. There, we don't know the distance. We don't know the distance. Can you agree? I mean, that's what you're telling me. You do agree we don't know the distance. And here on the 3D, we don't know the distance. But we can see that this distance is true. I can tell you that this band here, the woman's band, that when she comes to me, her eye level, my eye level will be at her band. When she walks up to me, that is what will be at my eye height. And here on Soundly's video, when Soundly crosses the bridge, even though that it's got that there, he crosses the bridge, his horizon, his eye height is at the height that I've just shown you. I mean, I really think that it's blindingly
No, it's
obvious.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
I'll just make one more
Wait.
point then.
I already showed you that when you're starting from a surface from a spherical surface, then the horizon must be lower than in this case the bottom of the pylon foundations.
Yeah,
And perspective-wise, you simply can't make the point that the horizon should be higher. You can't.
of course you can. This I will show you again.
No,
This
because
is
do we want to model this again a little more refined with my program or with a
wait.
different one?
Do we see this here? This horizon. What height is this woman now? She is eye level with me. She is eye level. Can you see how the camera, it looks distorted? I can wobble this any which way I want. Now, is this woman at my eye level? No, I am eye level with the tool bag that she's using. If this woman were to walk up to me, that tool bag is where would meet my eye level. Nothing else.
Yeah, but I think you forget the fact that on a spherical surface, the horizon isn't infinitely far away.
On a spherical surface. And really, I think that is a weak argument with this. This is your spherical surface. Look how spherical it is.
Look at all the other pictures that Soundly has made. How can you differentiate between this one and the other one?
I have pictures of real life situations where we can examine and show the exact same thing. Now, these are all pictures. Can you see these?
Yes.
These are all same real pictures. And here we can see bridge underneath.
Again,
Nothing.
zoom in, zoom
horizon.
into the middle.
Yep.
Further. Further.
And that's the extent.
Yeah, so you can't determine it because the resolution isn't good enough.
No, but this resolution is absolutely brilliant, I think, for determining, because the resolution here, I'd agree with you, it's sketchy. How can we really know? Here, this notch and this notch and this notch is following a pattern. It's following a very distinct pattern, and that's perspective. It is 1 point perspective, and 1 point perspective is related to art, but it applies in the real world to human eyesight in that we get to see 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point perspective.
Yes, on a spherical surface.
Yes, but
not on a spherical surface. Sorry, on a flat surface. But as I've demonstrated before, when you're on a spherical surface, that's not what you're going to expect. So why are you making the claim that this is what you should see on a spherical surface, even if it's not what you expect to see? What you expect to see on a spherical surface is that when you're looking in a straight line along these power lines, that when you're in the eye level of, let's say, that second diamond, the middle of the second diamond, as you claim, or was it the bottom of the second diamond, whatever, that if you're looking through it, first of all, the towers are going to rise a bit. No, they're not going to rise.
No, yeah,
they're going to drop after a certain time, as modeled by my model. And that's what you expect on a spherical surface. Do you agree?
This is what you expect on a spherical surface if a spherical surface Earth existed. But this is obviously like the beautiful flat plane, and I think that this
No,
picture,
why obviously? I mean, let's say, for example, that both of these pictures were taken by the same guy at the same moment. How would you differentiate?
if they were in the exact same position, I could only differentiate and say that he's weighted. Atmospheric conditions have changed. What I mean is, I don't know whether he's slightly left or slightly right. Pulling that onto perspective at this, that could be determined, but is extremely difficult. You have to judge how close this tower is moving to this tower, and then you'd also have to know that I'm counting the right towers, because I might be judging this tower moving to this as the 5th and 6th, but we couldn't know it might be the 7th and 8th, and everything would be thrown off then. So a guaranteed way of doing it is just look at the horizon, and knowing things are straight, if you know they're straight, then that's it. It's an eyeball thing. Not many people know this. I will admit that. It is something that I do know because I have looked into perspective. This is what it does. You can determine height by judging. If you know the height of this tower, I don't know the height of this tower. All I know is that it's that notch there. I can
60
just,
meters or so, I think.
yep. Well, you know that I think I've quite fairly proven that that is eye height, and that eye height is matching the horizon, and that the eye height is the personal horizon. It is your horizon, or obviously the person from this camera's viewpoint horizon. And
Well,
Soundly's video.
wait. That personal horizon thing.
Yep.
On a flat surface, the horizon will be on eye level for everyone. Do you agree?
No, the horizon will be at different heights for their eye level.
No, because eye level per definition is 90 degrees from right below you.
No, that's your Masonic thing. Look here, you see.
No. Wait, eye level simply means that it's perpendicular to up and down. That's all.
Yep. Well, that's what you're being told. But what I'm going to show you is this eye
No.
level.
No. That's not what I'm being told. That's a result of.
But you know that you're on a flat Earth argument, and that we are actually like challenging the entire establishment. So
yeah, but eye level has a geometrical definition that is not changeable.
But we have a geometrical model here, which I can show you that this woman here, it is her eye level. And now, do we need to see her move towards us to confirm that it's eye level? No, this character here is a little child now. Just imagine that. I'm not tricking you. This isn't an illusion like the other one. She's genuinely there. She's genuinely smaller. We can call her a child. This is eye level for her. Her eye level.
Yes, but the horizon still is identical.
Here. No,
I agree that there are different eye levels in the sense of different heights over the surface.
Okay,
but eye level for the individual persons means nothing different than 90 degrees from up and down.
Of course it does. This will prove it now. Now, eye level for this woman here, there, she's eye level. When she comes to me, she will be eye level. If I pull this towards me, this is going to be above me. It's taller than me. I can see this now because of the tricks that I know. Now,
yeah, but wait.
Here, this little child, is she going to see this relative to this horizon? Is this the position that is going to be on the horizon for this child? Will it fall at this position? Is this child right now, right this minute, is she seeing the horizon here? Is this what this child is seeing?
I don't know the distance to the object.
You don't need to know that, and put it down to her eye level and show you that she's seeing more of that. She's smaller and she is seeing more of that.
Yes, but the horizon is still on the eye level. That's the point.
No, the horizon.
Yeah, obviously. Do you agree? Do you agree that the horizon is 90 degrees from her up and down?
Like 90 degrees. That's horizontal.
Yes.
Yes, it's horizontal.
Yes. Yeah, that's all that eye level means.
No.
Yes, eye level means nothing else, and you can ask anyone in the chat. Eye level means nothing else than 90 degrees from bottom or tops for up and down. Eye level means nothing else than horizontal from your point of view. Not tilted upwards or downwards. That's all eye level means.
Yeah, but I think you're skating around like definitions of things now, though.
And no, you were the one that changed that.
No, because do you agree that this person here does not share the same horizon as this person?
Yeah, they share the same horizon. Well, the horizon itself is identical. Just the position as seen from the different people of objects. Wait. Let me make my point. The horizon itself is identical for both people. What is different is the parent position of objects that are closer than the horizon. Do you agree?
No, you're sort of losing me.
The horizon itself is for both people at 90 degrees from bottom or top. Agreed?
Yeah.
All right. So the horizon itself is identical. Agreed?
As in, I'll agree, as in a floor. A floor, if I now put a floor here, this is relative to them.
No.
In that sense.
No, what I'm saying is that for both people, the horizon, meaning the point where the point that is the farthest away, the vanishing point, if you want to call it, is for both people at 90 degrees from bottom or top. Agreed?
Not a clue really what you're hinting at. The horizon, line of sight, if you're looking straight, then it's
Wait,
horizontal.
I'm gonna model it. You should be able to see it. I don't think we need this anymore. I will delete it. All right, so we have the ground. We have person A. Shit. And we have person. And we have person B. Okay. So let's just say that the plane is not infinite. That it's not infinite, remember?
Yep.
Okay, that means that the horizon for this, so this is where the plane ends, right? Here, right there.
Yep.
So that means that the horizon for this person is there, and for this person is there. Now, under that condition, both are looking downwards, but with different angles. Agreed?
Yep.
Okay. What will happen if we extend this line? If the flat plane gets longer?
The sight's going to go even more horizontal.
Yes. So what is the end result?
What do you mean the end result?
Yeah, when we extrapolate this to infinity, what happens?
They're seeing that you can pull this and you're pulling their personal horizons. You pull that to the right and them lines will straighten out.
So both lines in the end will be perpendicular to the surface.
What you're describing there is that person there is looking 200 foot in front and then they're looking 300 foot in front, 400 foot, 500.
In the end, if this plane is infinite, both lines will be parallel and they will be looking like this, right?
Yes.
Because the downward looking angle will be smaller. That means that the horizon for both people will be identical.
No, because
yes,
you've already pointed out that when you have them down here.
No, as said, the horizon is identical. Now, it happened again. Why does this happen all the time? So now we have another object. Red, green, let's take blue. So, as said, the horizon will be identical for both people. The only thing that's going to happen is that the relative position, as seen from both people, of the same object will change. So in this case, for this person, for the smaller person, the top of the object will be above the horizon, and for this person, the top of the object will be below the horizon. The horizon itself, on the other hand, is identical. And for both people, it will be at 90 degrees from upwards or downwards.
I'll just make a point here before I even go on, that them horizontal lines there are also following a horizontal infinite plane which we live on. And this is why all the illusions that you can't comprehend that I can explain and can make accurate judgments on all pictures, on all footage, on everything, because what you are now, you understand how perspective works. I know you understand how perspective works, and now I'm getting a little confused at how you can't accept that there is no distortion on the other one that is showing a perfectly straight, perfectly, arguably, visibly, perfectly straight set of pylons.
I don't think I know what your point is.
I know that you don't know what my point is. I think that's pretty much all that I'd like to say.
Yeah, I mean, the first point that I was making was the most important one, that you said that the model you described would also work on a spherical surface. And do you agree that I showed you that that was wrong?
Yes.
All right, that was the important point. Because in the Hangout, you said that the model would be working on a globe. And
Yes.
would you correct that in one of Riley's next Hangouts?
I'll correct that right here now and saying that I've definitely made a mistake in assuming just forward sight going over a curve. To highlight that, I've been narrow-minded saying it's a cylinder. You have to have a X and Y curve, and Cara has modeled that. It looks flat, right? It does look flat, but I know that Cara modeled it correctly. So there is a left and right curve. When I take that into account, I know that if I stood above a ball in real life and there was just a little bit of dirt on it, that you would see the dirt higher than the arc that you were looking down.
All right.
But we don't see this. And this is why this supports me, or I believe it supports me, because we are not seeing what was expected. If this was the first video, Soundly's video would have been a lot. Well, I think this was the first. It's
Yeah, it might be the first one. I don't know.
I'm happy to claim that this entire world is flat and that everything that they are feeding is loaded lies, because I know how to judge perspective myself on CAD, on systems, in the real world, and I knew that this would match up before I've tried. That is how I'm confident enough to come on and say it, that I can find Soundly's eye level, and his eye level is matching up with a very clear image of a very, very, very straight punch train, which is in direct conflict to what Soundly shows. And not only is it showing the most extreme curve that anybody has seen, but I have pointed extremely valid points which any CAD designer can test. Any artist that does know perspective will know that I am not making up these points, that you can assess height from judging perspective. You can assess observer height, you can assess many things just from having static straight objects in the frame.
All right. We're now at 90 minutes. I am not planning to go for much longer, at least not for the 1 versus 1. In Riley's Hangout, or to be more exact, in the comments, you said that you would be ready to do a Q&A with the live chat.
Yes.
All right. So I've just taken a look at the live chat, and there are some questions that arose. First of all, give me a second. I've wanted to mark them, but for some reason I've lost it. Give me a second. Yeah, someone wants to know if you actually know what the mathematical definition of the law of perspective is.
The mathematical, no.
Well, it basically describes a relation between distance of an object from the observer, the angular size, and the actual size. I would have to look it up as well. I don't know it by heart, but I could reconstruct it. I think I've done it live with Anthony once.
Yeah, I don't know that, but what I do know is that I'm very, very terrible at maths, but there is enough knowledge. I have enough knowledge to know how to model the exact curvature of the Earth, the exact dimensions. I know how to model literally anything in CAD systems other than that, as in just modeling sense. And really, I would say 100% that I am right on my observations of perspective in how it is reacting, as in all you have to do is look and assess. Once I know the basics of it and they are matching reality, once I have confirmation that it's matching reality, matching what I expect to see, and CAD proves it, that I have an infinite plane to work with, when the two match up, I am happy to call the two exactly the same, what we're seeing. Add to that all of the shite that you see with NASA. The other videos that I have with definitely showing that a hotspot cannot be produced on top of a planet. It should be lighting the whole side.
If you want to discuss this, we can do it another time. Because
right,
I think I didn't have a space discussion with someone yet, except for the Discover satellite. So
yeah, I'll leave them points. Yeah.
all right. So another question from the side chat. Someone wants to know why or why you think that the horizon actually drops below eye level the further up you go.
I don't think it drops below eye level the further up you go, and I've seen evidence to support that it doesn't drop further up you go. And
have you seen Rhetoric and Discourse's Theodolite app video? Basically, all he does is he takes a Theodolite app that is something you can load into your smartphone and checks how far below eye level the horizon is on a commercial flight. And it matches up more or less perfectly with what is predicted by mathematics.
Yeah, I've seen lots of stuff on the Theodolites, and really, I don't trust them.
You don't trust Theodolites?
No,
Why?
the people using them. And I don't have one
the
myself.
people using them. I mean, there's literally nothing to do wrong with it. You load the app on your smartphone and you point it towards the horizon. That's all.
On the exact same point, there's literally nothing to stop you confirming that this is straight. There is literally nothing. I think, and I would state that what is happening here is serious cognitive dissonance.
What has that to do with my question regarding the Theodolites?
The fact that I don't trust the people, if they are doing that in the search of flat Earth, when I know for myself that I have proof, you can call this is cognitive dissonance on my side, I wouldn't care, because I have visual proof here, and you are asking me just to trust an instrument, not to trust my eyes. What I can
You're using a camera right there. That's also an instrument.
Yes, but what did I say? If I took this picture myself, if I moved the camera away from my face, what image would I still expect to see? It wouldn't be zoomed in, but these would be at the exact same height.
Yes, but the point is that instruments are far more reliable usually and far more accurate definitely as human senses are.
If this was curving, these would not follow the horizon. This is your globe that I am using for proof.
Zoom more in and I think they would. But whatever. Next question.
Right, yeah.
Just give me a second. A question by Richard Brumby, leveled out. Do you think your trust really matters in the grand scheme of things?
Trust. And repeat the question.
Do you think your trust really matters in the grand scheme of things? Is it pronounced scheme? I don't know. Yeah, scheme.
Well, I'm not really sure if I understand the question, but I'm just going to say something on it. Do people trust what I am showing them? Do people trust that this is replicating what you see me replicate on CAD? Does this look, is it matching? Am I making this up? Do you trust me? Do you trust that I have explained and have valid points? Really, if you don't trust it, I don't know what you're going to trust. Here we can see that I will point out where the atmospheric condition is bending. Here it's bending. Right there, this is glass water that you are looking at. It is a reflection, and the reflection happens at roughly the same spot here, but because of possibly temperature, I'll zoom in, because of temperature, we can see that it's not being totally obscured. That land there is still there. That
okay, and another question by Kara. I just want a quick Q&A because we could go above every point for decades, and I think you wouldn't still reach a result. So Kara Diane, whatever, asks, why is it when you trace the bottom and top of the towers in Soundly's footage, I think, to the vanishing point is above the horizon, and she's supplied me with a link that I'm going to send you right now.
Yep.
from curved water 5.
Are you sharing my screen now?
I should be, yeah. Oh no, I'm not. Now I am.
Here, I've never seen this picture before, and it is matching. The curved lines are matching where I say his eye height is. This is the actual horizon. They now are seeing proof that the true convergence isn't matching. This is the eye height. This is Soundly's eye height. And they have nicely placed the horizon there for me. That is where I claimed it is. That is where they claim it is. And I have footage showing it at that level. I have footage. It isn't my footage, it's that Johnny Oops footage, but I think he's absolutely amazing for doing it.
All right. So I think we've had enough questions. Do you want to stay for the after show hangout, or do you want to leave? Because my plan is usually what I do in the end of Hangouts is basically invite everyone who watched or who wants to join into the Hangout to have a chat.
I'll get off for now. I could join you again, though, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have to find another date. In the next few weeks, I'm occupied, so it would take some time. But yeah, sure. I mean, if you want another Hangout, we can do it.
Yep, I will, because I can see the comments now saying, yeah, he's retarded. And that. If people, honestly, if you can't understand what I'm saying, then there's really not much. I am going to be making a video on this. That's a guarantee, and to go into much, much more depth. And the majority of the video is going to be footage, cross-referenced with exact angles and the exact explanation of how to fight.
I have to interrupt you shortly. Ranty is spamming in the chat. He posted the same comment like 5 times, so I temporarily blocked him.
Right.
I just want to have that verbally to be in the Hangout, so he can't claim that there was no reason to ban him.
No, yeah, yeah.
All right. So again, if you want to do another Hangout, we can do it. And I'm going to open the Hangout now. So starting with, to everybody in the chat, who wants to join? One final question. Where exactly are you from? Because I can't identify that accent.
Me, Newcastle.
Yes, Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's in Northumberland, isn't it?
Yeah, the northeast side.
Yeah. I had a vacation in Berwick up in Tweed a decade or so ago. But what?
Did you like it?
Well, I think yeah, it was kind of weird, but generally I did enjoy it. Yes. I spent most of the time in Scotland, anyways. The hotel was in Berwick, and we were basically driving every day across the border to visit some castles.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So.
Right. Wait, I'll get off now and.
Okay.
Sort stuff out. I'm actually going to go for a drink.
Thank you very much for coming on.
No, thank you for letting me do it.
It's been a pleasure.
Right. Thanks, Al. See ya.
See you.